Hello, Mr. Barry's geometry class. This is May 11th, and I'm looking at that 12.4, finding the areas of the following circle, trapezoids, and triangles. And I believe it said on there to do the even ones. Let me just double check. Evens only, it says, okay? So I'm going to take you through most of the evens. I want you to do some of them on your own. Taking a look at this one with a radius of 4 meters. You just take pi r squared, put in the 4. In terms of pi, it would just be 16 pi meters squared. 16 times pi is 50.3. He said to round to the nearest tenth. So that's why I stopped at 3. For number 4, you have the radius of 20. So I have 20 squared. 20 squared is 400 pi. 400 times pi is 1,256.6. Number 6, the radius is going to be 10 because it's half of the diameter, which is 20. So 10 squared, which is 100. 100 times pi is 314.2 meters squared. Go ahead and try 8 on your own. It's another circle. It's another one where it gives you the diameter, and you're going to have to take half of that. So if the diameter is 100, the radius is going to be 50. So it's just going to be 50 that you're going to be concerned about putting in that formula for the R. All right, number 10, taking a look at this information. We have base 1, base 2, we have height. So base 1, base 2 height, plug it in, and end up with 264 meters squared once you work all this out. Number 12, base 1, base 2 height, and so you're going to take that information. Notice he's giving you extra information in there, that 12 and that 10 we're not going to do anything with, and you get 92 meters squared for number 12. 14 is the same, so try 14 on your own. 16, I get base 1, base 2, and height. Or you could call this one base 1, base 2, and height, doesn't matter. And once you put that information in, you get 232 meters squared. You could pause this and look at my steps as you are going through this. 18 starts with triangles, and I have the base is just 40 and the height is 30. So base times height divided by 2 ends up being 600 meters squared. So 40 times the 30 is 1200 divided by 2 is 600. Number 20, I have the base and the height, so 36 times 9 divided by 2 is 36 times 9 divided by 2 gives me 162 meters squared. 22 and 24 are the same, just like these. The base times height, they're the triangles. They're actually like number 20 more. 26, I have base 1, base 2, and the height for this trapezoid. So I take that information and plug it in. Height, base 1, base 2, all divided by 2, get 90 meters squared. And then 28 is going to be another triangle, so do those like number 18 and 20. I'm doing a number 30. 30, we have a 7 as our radius, so it ends up being 49 pi. 49 times pi is 153.9 meters squared. Number 32 is just like 28, which is just like 18 and 20, and what you did for 22 and 24. Going on to 23.6. 23.6, you're given the answers and you have to find like the radius. So for this one, I know that it's 64 pi is the area. So if it's 64 pi, that is, pi r squared. So this has got to be r squared. So I take the square root of that r of r squared, which is 64, which gives me just plain old r, which is 8. Same thing for number 4. It equals 625. 625 is r squared. I want to know what r is, not r squared, so I take the square root of it, which is 25. For number 6, we want to know the diameter. Well, let me first find the radius. The radius is going to be the square root of 36. And then 6 times 2, the radius times 2 is the diameter, so that will be 12. 8 is the same. Going to do the same thing as number 6, okay? Just set it equal to 100. 100, take the square root of 100, find the radius, times that by 2 to get the diameter. Here we have base 1, base 2. This is a B. You know, some people probably thought that was a 6. That is a B. So base 1, base 2, and height. So I plug in the information that I know, it all equals 36. Okay, I go ahead and use the distributive property. I end up with 4b plus 48 over 2. I multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that 2. And then I subtract 48 from both sides, and then I divide by 4. And I end up with 6 being that b that was missing, that base that was missing. That becomes 6. Okay, number 12 is going to be, you're going to do the same thing as you did in number 10. Number 14. Base 1, base 2, height, we got to figure out the height, and it all equals 96. So I have it all set to 96, but I don't know the height. I do what's in the parentheses. I multiply both sides by 2, and then I divide both sides by 48 in order to get h by itself. Algebraic magic tells me 4 equals the height. 16 is going to be the same as number 14. So go ahead and do that one. Don't worry about making mistakes. We all do. Correct them, and you're learning. 18, we know the answer, but we want to know the height. So I have the answer, and I know the base, but I don't know the height. So I multiply both sides by 2, and then I divide both sides by 8 to get the height of 30. Number 20, I want to know the height again. I know the base, and I know the answer. So I multiply both sides by 2. I divide both sides by 10 and get the height left over. 7 equals the height. 22 and 24 are the same as number 20, and 18 for that matter. 26, now we start mixing them up. I have base 1, base 2, and I have the answer and I have the height. I need to find out what base 1 is. So I don't know what base 1 is, I leave it as a B. I plug in all the other information. I'm do the distributive property with my 5. I then multiply both sides by 2, and then I subtract 85, and then I divide by 5. I get 27 equals B. That first base. 28 is just like the rectangle or the triangular ones that you did in number 18, 20, 21, and 24. So I don't want to repeat that. You could tackle that one. 30, I'm going to go ahead and do. 30, if I'm given 144 as the area, or 144 pi is the area, that would be r squared. I want to know what r is by itself, so I take the square root, which is 12, so the radius is 12. 30, I went ahead and did 30. 30 is just like 18, 20, 22, and 24. I don't know the base, I know the height, and I know the answer. So I don't know the base. I multiply both sides by 2, and then I divide both sides by 11, and I get 40 equals that base. Okay, hopefully this was helpful, and good luck with the ones that you're doing on your own.